Good morning. Good morning. We don't have to relive history. We have to remember. It's so important. Recently, the president was signing executive orders, and he stated that we were the most wealthiest nation between 1870 and 1913. Now, you have to remember what was happening then. Let's keep in mind it was until 1920 that white women could not even vote here. We have to remember, you have to go and you have to ask your mother, to ask their mother, if they're still alive. Hey, what were the bad things that were happening during your time? We have to remember, not relive all of the bad things. You got to consider the fact that in 1866, the National Labor Union was founded. But prior to that, in 1794, the first recorded labor strike in the U.S. occurred in 1768 when New York journeyman tailors protested wage reduction. This means way back then, people felt like they weren't getting paid for the work they were doing, and they decided to protest. This was before they unionized. The National Labor Union, 1866, was the first national labor federations in the U.S. It advocated for an 8-hour work day and other labor reforms. The Knights of Labor, 1869, founded. 1869 was the largest and most influential organization of the 19th century. It welcomed all workers, including women and African Americans, and pushed for a broad social reform. Did you hear that? It welcomed women and black people. There clearly were problems, and we don't need to relive these issues. Over U.S. history, citizens have had to say, hey, it's not okay that I am here putting forth my investment of time and resources and not getting my fair share. And we have had to fight for that. Y'all have got to really ask your parents. Hey, if they're still alive, suck that information out of them. Why? What was going on before we had to judicially, constitutionally say, hey, women should have the right to also have a say-so? What was happening before then? What type of thought processes did our males have that we needed to legally say that they are humans as well? This is one of those things. I never write down what I'm about to say because I think it's natural. I think it's natural for me to say, hey, if these individuals wanted to be included in U.S. society, but the only way to get there was to have to shed blood, then it's important for me to remember. The hardships are some things that aren't even in our history books. They have to be passed down by word of mouth. And today, I am asking you as a citizen to want to take it to the next level. We have got to have a final constitutional way that citizens, everyone who is judicially considered, constitutionally considered a citizen, have a say-so. Because it is better to remember than have to relive. I don't want to relive. The only pathway that people saw to have to make change was to create violence. Through violence, they made change. I don't want to go through that. That's my personal feelings. I don't want to. I don't want to have to hurt anyone because I want to have a say-so. I don't want to burn things down or tear things down because I deserve to have a say-so because I have worked for this country. I've invested in this country. Time, emotions, tears, blood, sweat. I've invested. Most of you have invested in this country. The only thing that I want to do is lock in our constitutional right to navigate this country, to take it from just a representative democracy, but a more direct democracy where citizens have the right to speak for themselves. We cannot relive things that are already written down. We know right now that there are agencies that are fighting against unions. Remember why we even needed them? Because things weren't fair. Because a group of people said it's not fair that we have to work this hard, that we give you all of our labor and you reap all the benefits. That we can't even live comfortable. It was until they could not live comfortable. Where are you right now? How long before you're not living comfortable? Get up. Fill out the petition. Take it down to your county of elections office, to your supervisor of elections office. Take it down there and say, hey, hold on to this. Because this guy, this candidate, he wants to cement history. He wants to make sure that even if we forget, it's still there. Even if we forget, it's still there. That's why history is important. It's important so you don't have to relive the bad parts. The good parts, keep working. The bad parts, people want you to forget. They want you to forget why, what it took to get here. I'm telling you, the more I learn, look, who knew? Who's been walking around saying, hey, before 1920, no woman in the United States of America could even vote. But today, there are people passing laws right now. There are people that are introducing bills that says that if you carry the same last name as your spouse, as your husband, that he decides your political future. There are bills out there like that. No, you're an individual. And you have your own thoughts and opinions. And they are all valued. I may not agree with everything that you think and all of your opinions, but I understand that it has value because it's valuable to you. I never know what it's going to take or how many times I'm going to have to say, value yourself. Show me that you value yourself politically by wanting to have a voice. And you will not see, you will not hear, you have not heard anyone give you or tell you that they're going to give you that level of political authority because it's not beneficial to them. But it is beneficial to me because I really am putting my hand in the hat to simply say that I have met more good people than bad ones. I really have. I have met a lot of good people. I have met more good than bad. And we've all met our fair share of bad. A lot of the stuff I see on social media and things of that nature, I don't know those individuals. I don't know them. But the people I come out with and, that actually I shake hands and allow me to approach them and speak to them. I've had people tell me when I go to say, hey, would you consider giving me an opportunity, a little bit of your time because I'm running for governor of Florida? Oh, I don't do politics. But you do this life. You live this world. But that's a tough area to navigate because a lot of people don't want to be bothered. They have their opinions about why. Even to the extent they don't want to hear you out. Sometimes I move on. Sometimes I try to find a different approach. How can I bridge this gap? Just get you to even want to listen. Sometimes it's, I just don't want it. I just don't care. And it may easily be, I don't want it from you. I don't like the way you look. No one said it. But nonetheless, opinions matter. If you give your opinion and you say, hey, you don't look like somebody that I would want to vote for. Well, I hope that the person who looks like the person you'd want to vote for is saying the same thing that I am. Giving you the opportunity. Because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Man, I tell y'all, when you go back and you learn to formulate how to formulate a question, and then you go and you search it out, when did America form unions? Why did America feel like it needed to have unions? And they flat out tell you, because we started, because that group of people said, hey, this is not fair. Why would they think that? Because somebody was flaunting their wealth. That's why. Because somebody devalued them and made them feel less for the hard work they were doing. That's why. That's why. There are times, I love to tell y'all the type of father I am. There are times where I would I would not praise my children just because they did well, because it was them that did well. I only focus on where they do bad, because where you do bad is where I can clean up. But I need you to value your hard work, because if you leave it to me, then you put too much power in my hands to hurt you. So I don't sit around and praise my babies all the time. It's just the way I raise mine. I don't praise them for every great thing they do, even though I recognize it. Because I don't want you to put all of your eggs in hoping that you meet my standard. You may never meet my standard. It continues to grow because I continue to grow. So set your own tone. Be able to set your own tone. It means so much to me. Set your own tone. But we have to have an avenue. Right now, protest. People protest. And sometimes those protesters turn violent. Why? Because no matter how much you scream outside, there has to be an election done to decide if they heard you or not. That's why. And you don't get a say-so. That's why protests turn violent. And a lot of times we say, look at those individuals protesting, tear up what they have to live in. Because the rage has to go somewhere. But that part is always left out. The rage of knowing that it's not enough or that it's not having an effect. Where do you sit it? And you can sit on any high horse you want to, because you don't have to protest right now, or it's not affecting you right now. And wait until it does. Because we do, like I said earlier, we do have a pecking order. And once that pecking order reaches you, then you start to say, well, why isn't no one helping me out? Because you were above looking below. They call it punching down. We have to do something different. But we do not need to relive the worst parts of our history that made us understand that there needed to be change, and we did need to have diversity. We were diverse before DEI. We were asking for equity and inclusion before the term DEI. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? But in today's society, we have said, because of hardship, that it is better to push it all back to a small group. And we're going to call that small group men. Because there are men that say, hey, I should speak for you. And they're using what? Religion. Hey, I'm the head of the household. God put me at the head of the household. Therefore, I should think for you. Stop with that. You can think for yourself. You can think for yourself. Pause. No further conversation after that. And we should do nothing to limit that. There should be no conversation limiting your ability to speak for yourself. But we need to, if this is the way to make it happen, if we understand that we have rules, regulations, and constitutional ways to amend that constitution, then this is what we must do. We must put it in stone in our constitution so that other individuals can go back and remember, look up, and reference so they don't have to relive. Thank you for every single person that at least gives me the opportunity to hear me out. But it's far beyond that. The biggest question is, if you made it all the way through to this 15 minutes, the biggest question is, who's giving you the opportunity to hear you out? You can give me the support, but now Can you also garner that support? That's the networking that's necessary. That's how we progressively move forward. It's like you're also running for office. Because you are. You're also running for office. We are going to change history. You can start looking up why direct democracy didn't work. You can start looking up why the inclusion of more people created confusion, and how we're going to ensure that we fix that. And I've already stated who, what, when, where, why, and how. The subscription button on my webpage, it will go to my Substack. I will explain clearly my vision for how to make this work. But we need a constitutional amendment done that certifies and solidifies that we all have the right to navigate our futures. You guys have a great day.